There's a Antonio Carlos Jobim tune that's sort of like a Muzak staple. Like you'll hear Girl from Ipanema and you'll hear this tune called Wave all the time when you're in an elevator. And it starts out with a vamp of D minor, G7. This one's in the real book, but D major 7, I think they call it B flat diminished, I'm not sure. And then A minor 7, D7, G major 7, etc., etc. But that second chord, I think they call it B flat diminished. It might say D flat diminished or E diminished or G diminished, but again, those are all related chords. They all share the same notes. So look in the real book if you don't know this tune already. That would be a place that you could use the diminished scale. You would play, I don't know, probably a D major kind of sound on this D major chord, makes sense. And then on the B flat diminished, you're going to probably want to play the B flat diminished scale. But if you do go and learn that the B flat, the D flat, E, and G, those will all share the same diminished chord, you know, you don't have to jump down here to the root of the B flat diminished scale. You might want to play a G diminished scale, which is the same scale. It's a little bit easier to get to it here. And it's also maybe in a better range for soloing, right? Because you don't want your solo to go. That would be a cool exercise actually to work out the changes on that one, but when you're soloing like in real life, you probably don't want to jump, you know, root every time. So it might be cool to disguise it. An easy way to do that, especially with this fingering that's all sort of related, is, you know, starting in a range sort of in the middle of the scale. So again, you could play some D major sounds. Etc., etc. So that was D major to B flat diminished, A minor, D7. I just see that that's just a 2-5-1 in G major. So I kind of just played some, I don't know exactly what, but some G major kind of sounds over this A minor, D7, and G. So again, this diminished fingering is a great scale to use, the diminished scale on the same root as the diminished chord of the tune. And again, you'll probably see this more often in like an older style tune. But a lot of those tunes in the real book are from maybe like show tunes of the 30s or 40s or something like that. So we'll get to how jazz musicians change those diminished chords into other things in a little bit, but you definitely see diminished chords just written in the music, and it's a little degree symbol, and it'll usually say diminished 7th, so that in the real book I bet it says B flat little degree sign 7. But check your real book for that tune Wave. So that would be a cool diminished scale application, and it's on the same root as the chord. So if it's a B flat diminished chord, you're going to play the B flat diminished scale, which makes it kind of easy. Now there's really only 3 diminished scales. If you count them out, like say we started on where we started, this A flat diminished scale. Remember, A flat's the same as B, which is the same as D and the same as F, and then we get up to this A flat and we're repeating. So there's an A flat, then we could move it up 1 fret and we'd have the A diminished scale, and that would be the same as A flat, C, E flat, and F sharp.
I said A flat, but that's really A, C, E flat, and F sharp.
We could get up another half a step and we'd have the B flat, which is what you're going to use in Wave, and that would be B flat, D flat, E, and G. And you can call these whatever you want. If you want to call that C sharp, you probably see C sharp diminished more than you'll see D flat diminished, just because the notes kind of line up a little bit easier if C sharp's the root. So B flat, C sharp, E, and G, those are all 1. And then when I get up to B, remember the A flat and the B are the same. So by the time I get up to the B, I've already played the scale that contains all the notes that would be in the B diminished scale. So it's not really anything new. It's, in fact, you could continue playing what you're thinking of as the A flat diminished scale. It would have the same notes as the B diminished scale. You could use it as a D diminished scale. So it would be wise to learn where all these roots are, so you don't always, you know, when somebody says E flat diminished, you don't have to go here, right? That might not be the easiest place to play it, right? You could end up actually playing what looks like an A diminished scale on the 5th fret here, but that A diminished scale shares A, C, E flat, F sharp. Those notes are all the same. So when it says E flat diminished, you don't have to jump up to 11th position. You could also play it on 5th position. So knowing where these other roots are would make this diminished scale applicable in a lot of different places. In fact, you could play every single diminished scale from a range of 3 frets if you think about it. So that's one way to use this diminished scale.